Hello everybody, it's your favorite Shill here, and I'm excited to talk to you about some new Arkham announcements that just came out at the in-flight report yesterday, as well as the 2026 release roadmap, which is looking, in my opinion, pretty neat. If you don't know, the in-flight report happened yesterday, and they revealed a bunch of exciting new Arkham products. The in-flight report is basically just their big, Fantasy Flight's big, this is what we're doing, this is what's coming out in the next year, update us on games, content, all that kind of cool stuff. This was a pretty good in-flight report. If you're a fan of Star Wars Unlimited, they announced some cool stuff. If you're a fan of Zombicide and Cthulhu Death May Die, they announced some really cool stuff. And if you're a fan of old FFG classics, I think there might be some cool stuff for you there as well. But my focus on here is for Arkham Horror the card game, as it always is, and they announced some new products, and they also shared a roadmap for 2026. So I'm here to share that with you and a few other exciting new pieces of information regarding Core 2026 and all the products coming out from that. But they started this out by sharing the remaining 3 investigators that were going to be coming out in the Core 2026 pack. So let's check them out. We got Joe Diamond, the Seeker, Isabella Barnes, who we already know, but joining them is Daniela Reyes, Dexter Drake, and Trish Scarborough. Daniela Reyes is the Guardian, Dexter Drake is the Mystic, and Trish Scarborough is the Rogue. This is cool. So we have essentially no brand new characters here. We knew about Izzy from Dunwich, she's always kind of been in the backstory, but she is the one that's fully quote-unquote new. But otherwise, Joe, Daniela, Dexter, and Trish are all investigators that we've seen before, and they all are good investigators with a really nice niche, and I'm excited to see how they are used going forward with these new versions. And if these new versions are going to have different deck building, same deck building, it looks like it's probably going to be the same. I mean, Daniela's going to be different. I think she's going to be Guardian and Survivor, much like how, like Joe is, we know Seeker Guardian, Isabella is Survivor Mystic. I think Daniela is going to be Guardian Survivor, Dexter is going to be Mystic Rogue, and Trish is going to be Rogue Seeker. I think that's a pretty good spread. And also, honestly, it makes the that one evasion card from that was spoiled for the Seeker thing make a lot of sense with Trish Scarborough, especially if she's going to be the Rogue there. Yeah, I think this is really neat. I think this is a good cast of characters, and I'm very excited to see if their abilities are, their abilities are going to be different, and if their abilities are going to be, what they're going to look like. And I think that's going to be kind of neat. And if their stat lines change too, that's the other thing, because Joe's stat line stayed the same. They also said that the Core 2026 would release in spring of, you guessed it, 2026. So that is, not close, but it's closer than it was yesterday. So that's pretty neat. But that's not all. In addition, in spring 2026, they said they would be releasing 5 new Evergreen investigator decks, and they stated that these decks would remain in print. And they also revealed who those 5 investigators were going to be. So let's check it out. We have Tommy Muldoon, the Guardian, Carolyn Fern, the Seeker, Marie Lambeau, the Mystic, Miguel de la Cruz, the Survivor, who is a rancher, and Andre Patel, the Rogue. So this is kind of neat, right? This is a neat little thing here. Obviously, new investigator starter decks is is good. Nat Cho, Harvey Walters, Jacqueline Fine, Winifred Habermuck, Stella Clark, they're all good, well-loved investigators, but it's been known at this point that they are, they were going out of print, and it was even previously stated that they would be, going out of current. But these guys, Tommy, Carolyn, Marie, Miguel, and Andre Patel, are all staying in here in the new current format, and they're going to be Evergreen going forward. So they're going to kind of likely have a stronger sort of continuing from the core set, where they're going to be taking what the identity of the class is and really nailing it down. I think this is really neat for reimaginations of Tommy, Carolyn, Marie. Tommy could even be the same. Tommy could fit, probably not, because Daniela is probably going to be Guardian Survivor, but it's another soak-based Guardian, I think, is going to be kind of the way. We don't know if these are going to be, monocolor, if they're going to be multi-class. We don't know what their deck buildings are. We just know what the investigators are. So I'm likely we're going to hear more of that closer to when they come out in spring 2026. And the other thing that I think is really neat here is Andre Patel while he's a new investigator, he is our first instance that we have of a story asset becoming an investigator. So Andre Patel is a signature card that you can get a story card that you can get in Film Fatale. So what does that mean? What are the rules associated with that? This is all very exciting and very open. Does this mean that maybe there could be like a Gabriella Mizra one? Could there be what's the lady's name that everyone loves from Femlock with the gun that I never really play? Where's Miguel from? Miguel is from Arkham Horror, the card game. he's a new character. He's the rancher, so we don't know anything about him. We just know he's a rancher. Cool pitch for a Survivor. I think he's going to be a really fun character to play. Cool lineup though for our Evergreen investigator decks here. I think that this is a really nice reimagining. I'm excited to see all the cards and the investigators and all that come with it. All right, but that is not all. They announced, actually, so they said, like, if you don't remember from the when they announced the core set, they said that they were looking at doing 4 releases a year, and they actually teased all 4 releases. So we know what's coming out, and we know when they're coming out. So we don't need to kind of just, like, sit on our hands and hope that there's going to be Arkham content. We know exactly when these Arkham content and what they are when they're coming out. So in summer 2026, they announced that a new 3-scenario campaign expansion called Children of Blood would be released. Now, I heard in my head campaign extension, but that's not what they said. I don't know why my brain filled that gap there, but this is a 3-scenario campaign expansion, which, as we know, is a very small... That's a very short campaign. There's not a lot to upgrade there, so I feel like I'm not going to concern myself too much about the intricacies of this 3-scenario campaign, because I think that there's a lot that we need to learn about what this means, because this goes so much against what is known. I am a big believer that dropping going into this rotation where things were going out of print opened up design space, and they were going to try things that feasibly were less likely to be tried when everything was in print. And I think that this 3-scenario campaign expansion is not as it seems on the tin. Because people were upset. I scrolled through Reddit. They love to Doom. And I mean, even people, like Ezekiel Abaddon right now in chat is saying, I would be much happier if they said 4 scenarios. I understand that. I'm not too committed to having a feeling about this yet, because I feel like there's something else going on here with this. We just know they just said 3-scenario campaign expansion and called Children of Blood, and they released some key art, which does look kind of hype. Very vampire based. We see Charlie Kane is still running for mayor in the background. He'll never give up his job. But I don't know anything really about what is going to be in here. It's unlikely to be exactly as it says on the tin, right? I think that there's more to this that we're going to learn when they announce more, but I'm just here to pass on what they said, which was that this is a 3-scenario campaign expansion coming out in 2026. And beyond that, I'm not going to worry too much about it until I hear more information about it. All right. But that is not all that they talked about. They also announced a scenario pack titled Traces to Nowhere for fall of 2026, which also has some sick-ass key art. I think this looks really good. It's a standalone scenario, like it's the scenario pack. So we kind of expected those. They stay in the rotation. It's a very nice thing for them to design, put into practice, and like release. People can play. We actually just recorded Film Fatale earlier this week, which was a really good time. That's a very fun standalone scenario, and I'm very curious to see and hear more about this Traces to Nowhere, because the key art is very, very enticing. All right. That is the release, all the releases, and here is the roadmap that they revealed also during this PAX Unplugged. So as you can see, we have Spring 2026, we have the core set and the 5 investigator starter decks. I guess they're called Evergreen starter decks, or Evergreen investigator decks. They might drop the term starter, so they might even actually be more complex. And then in summer 2026, we have the Children of Blood, which looks to be I mean, the box looks very similar to the revised core, but it looks like it would be smaller. I'm very curious to see. And then the fall 2026, they have the Traces to Nowhere. One thing that I also noticed that it looks like they are going back to cardboard packaging for the starter decks and the Traces to Nowhere, dropping the clamshell kind of plastic blister packs. A fun little fact about like when they used to release the Call of Cthulhu living card game, they were released in these cardboard recyclable packs. And while the clamshells are also still recyclable, these might be just better for it going forward. I think that's probably why is the change, but they do look different, right? Like, I'm not crazy. They look different. But yeah, I think this is pretty cool. I'm very interested to see, to learn more about these. I think that this is the start year. This is like the transition. There's a lot of people talking about how this was basically just like the second version of Arkham. And in actuality, no, because you can keep playing with the old stuff. But I think that it's very true that this is kind of just like, this is like a good point to jump into Arkham, right? Like, this is a good point to start playing Arkham if you've never played it before. And I think by that nature, because this is kind of like the reset, we're at the point where right now all of this is, there's a reason for this kind of like this release cadence here. It's to give like a good foundation to build off of, and I'm not going to panic or doom or gloom about that going forward. We're only going to get 3 scenario campaigns, right? Like, as far as I'm concerned, that is a dumb thing to worry about right now. This is rather like them starting to try new things out, and I think we might learn as we learn more, it's going to make more sense, so I'm not going to stress too much. But I will say I'm very excited to know what's coming in this next year. I really appreciate them giving the full timeline for releases. I think they did this for all their content, for Marvel Champions, for Star Wars Unlimited. I think that that's really nice for consumers to kind of have and kind of be able to look on that. I would have preferred to get more campaign stuff than more investigators. I get it. But how can I say this politely? We don't matter. There's always going to be something that there's always going to be someone who wishes it was different, right? I know a lot of players who are going to be so happy that there's going to be more player cards. There's going to be players that are going to be upset that there's more player cards than campaign expansions, but it doesn't matter. That's what it really comes down to. It's like, you can either engage with it or you don't have to engage with it in a way that says, I wish it was different. Because I just don't think that's that critical. That's the thing, right? Where's this image from? This is from the in-flight report that just happened. I think that then for going forward, there's likely I don't think this is going to be the release next year, right? That's why I think that ultimately, like, saying, like, I understand, yes, it makes sense that you would prefer to get more campaigns than player card expansions. I get that. But that doesn't necessarily mean that 2027 is going to look exactly like this. So that's why I ultimately find it a little bit, it's just unnecessary. It's like just wait a year, go play something else for a bit. Don't buy the things that you don't want to buy. I think that's the most important thing to keep in mind as a consumer, is if you disagree or dislike how something is released, don't engage with it, because then they'll learn, I don't think we should try that again. Like, that's the power that you have, right? Maybe that's just my own opinion. Maybe I'm just built different and that's just how I approach things. But like, even with this campaign, this 3 scenario campaign, I'm not too worried about it because I don't know anything about it. Once I know more, maybe I can have more statements about it. I can be a little bit more critical on my thoughts of it, right? But I think that for what we know and what we see, all this stuff kind of just makes sense, right? Rancher comes in and says he'll come with trap cards. That would be neat. That would be really neat. Kind of like, yeah, he can do a little bit more like trap-based stuff to explore that Survivor thing. That would be cool. But yeah, overall, I think this is pretty cool. I'm excited to see all the cards here, play with all the cards. I'm interested to learn more about this 3-scenario campaign expansion, because I don't know exactly what that means on the tin, and I think Traces of Nowhere has got me intrigued. I'm very excited to learn more about what the what that key art is going to tell for the story there. But yeah, overall, as you can see, because I probably said it 4,500 times in this video, I'm excited. I think this is really neat. All right, yeah. So if you want to keep in track of all this content as things come out, be sure to follow my channel. We'll release news updates when updates come. We'll talk more about it. We'll have a bunch of discussions. I'll bring other content creators on to also give their thoughts on what we know. But overall, I'm going to just follow what I always do, is I'm going to stay a little bit hushed on stuff until we get more information and more to actually talk about. Because, again, apart from what we have been seeing from the core set, which we've gotten quite a bit of information about, these other things we don't really know. So that's why I kind of didn't have too much to say about those things here. But otherwise, thanks for watching, everybody. I hope you enjoyed this video, and I hope you are looking forward to at least one of these products. If you are and you're excited to play more Arkham, that's good. That would be nice. If not, you know, that's okay too. You're your own person. Be you. That's what it's all about. Thanks for watching, everybody. Have a good one. And as always, a GG's.